I'm gonna mute it till you tell me not to.
Hey everybody, it's Angelique. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm back for another week. Another week of my podcast, my weekly podcast, Silent No More. It is a podcast for domestic violence awareness and action. That's what matters most. So, hello to all my courageous queens, all of my courageous kings. I say courageous because this journey is not easy for anybody. Domestic violence is a hard topic to talk about, but even worse to live through and survive through and come back from. So I'm here every week. This is episode number 22. Can y'all believe that? This has been 22 episodes that I've been on this thing. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm Angelique Pierce. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I am an advocate of freedom and truth. I tell people that all the time. And I am the founder of an organization called Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. Now, I created Ladder Masters to fulfill three important purposes. They will always remain this way. Number one is to bring awareness. In this case, it is to domestic violence. Number two is to break down facades. Wait till that word comes up again later with my special guest, is to break down facades. And number three is to build conquerors. I only speak for those three reasons. So if you ever catch me speaking for any other reason, you are allowed to tell me to shut my mouth. I tell people that all the time. All right, guess what, y'all? It's October. And if you don't know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Now, Domestic Violence Awareness Month was launched nationwide in October of 1987. I'm reading because I can't remember the information. It was created as a way to connect and unite individuals and organizations that are working on domestic violence issues while raising awareness for those issues. Now, over the past 30 years, there's been a lot of progress made specifically to support domestic violence victims and survivors, to hold abusers accountable. Thank God. Thank God for that. And to create and update legislation to further those goals. So that's why we bring awareness to Domestic Violence Month. So I'm kicking off this month with a special episode. I can't tell you, I'm so happy about this particular episode. But before I get into it, I am going to say a quick acknowledgement. Y'all saw the commercial play for Unique Blessings. That's the podcast network I'm a part of. UB Podcast Network, UB standing for Unique Blessings, which is a nonprofit organization that does a ton of work in domestic violence, teen support, and human trafficking. This is a big deal, y'all. So shout out to the family of the UB Podcast Network and the Unique Blessings organization. All right, I said it all. Now, I am going to talk about something really important tonight. I'm smiling because this is a special one for me. Tonight's episode is called It's Time to Jump, Breaking Free from the Cycle of Abuse. And my special guest, drum roll, my special guest tonight is an artist extraordinaire, is a survivor of domestic violence, a true champion, and a thriver. My cousin, my cousin LaShawn, y'all. So I'm about to bring her on. Y'all want to meet her real quick? Like y'all want to see LaShawn? Y'all want her to say hi real quick? All right, real quick. Y'all ready? Just real quick. Boom. Hey, oh my God. I know, right? Hey, push it up, push it up. Oh, I'm so excited to have you on, cuz I'm so excited. Okay, so here we go. Like I told you, I always start my shows before I go any further with any real deep conversation. I always start the episode with a quick prayer. So as Christian women, we're gonna do this thing together. All right.
Hey, when two or more meet.
All
When two or
right,
more
you
meet.
ready? All
Yeah.
right, so let's bow our heads. God, we come before you, just thanking you for this time together. What a blessing. It's amazing how you just bring people together, cousins in one way, and then we have a whole special connection in a different way, God. So I just thank you for LaShawn's life. I thank you for my life. I thank you that we have both risen above what was meant to destroy us. God, so I just thank you for who you are in our lives. I ask that you bless every single word that is spoken today on this podcast. And when I think of the victims, when I think of the survivors, God, I just ask you in one way, shape, or form, make a way, God. Find a way to give them the courage to get out and the strength to stay out of these situations. I thank you for all these things. We bless your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. All right. So now I told you, right? We're trying to there's like 7 people on this one. I think the numbers always get wacky, but whatever. There's 7 people watching right now. If you are watching this episode, oh, I got some comments for you already. If you are
Okay.
watching this episode, we got a good evening from Mr. KB.
Hi,
And then we got one of my friends from way back that I've known from from 5 years old, like 5 years old. This is her mom, Sheila Thomas, saying, hey.
hi,
All right, so
Mom.
listen, who's ever watching right now, I want you to click on your phone, your computer. I don't know what you got, what device you're using right now, but whatever you're using, hit that share button. I know people keep thinking, well, if I hit the button, because I'm sorry, I swear people think this. If I hit this button and I tag so and so, they're going to think I'm trying to send them a message like I'm trying to say they got a problem in their relationship. So what? Yeah, hit them, tag them. They probably do need to be here.
Tag your in. You got
Tag your in, tag them in. Yes. So yeah, tag somebody. And I know a lot of us are part of Facebook groups. If you are in a Facebook group, go ahead and share this to your group. If you are part of 10 groups, share it to your group because this is an important message that we're going to share tonight. And I'm so glad to have my blood on the line with me. This is awesome. All right, so let's keep going. Let me say a couple things about LaShawn.
All right, Angelique.
Angelique and LaShawn. LaShawn is a DC native. She went to Corcoran College. LaShawn, now I'm reading a little bit because I want to say it like how you said it, right? LaShawn
Okay.
has an urban sophistication about her work. If y'all can't tell, look at the look. This is an artist all the way through and through. Look, this is my bestie on. This is my bestie. Look. Excited to listen to what's coming. All right. So you ready?
Yes,
LaShawn
I
has
am.
an urban sophistication about her artwork. Y'all can see some of it in the background right behind her. You can see it on her skin. You can see how I just love the look. I love it all. She has an urban sophistication about her work that can only come from growing up in the city. LaShawn's
Mhm.
work makes you feel as though you are sitting at a cafe on U Street in DC, enjoying a cup of coffee, watching all the eccentric city folk go by. I love this. I love it.
I call it street TV.
Street TV. Now
Street
working
TV.
out of her Maryland studio, LaShawn frequently visits her favorite DC hangouts looking for inspiration. Her work is, y'all ready for this? Urban confetti. I love it. I love it. Her work is urban confetti. You can't help but feel the beat. Now, if y'all saw the flyer, you know that LaShawn has a special piece of artwork for sale tonight in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's called Façade. And I'm going to let her talk about it a little bit later. We will definitely get into depth about what it means and why she painted it and all that. So I won't spill the beans at all. But I just want you to know that you can get more information about LaShawn and about her work on her website. I'm going to put it in the comments in a second. And you can absolutely reach out to her directly, artistlashawn@gmail.com. Again, that's artistlashawn@gmail.com. In a second, I'm going to, as she's talking, I'm going to put in her website so you guys can follow her and jump on there and check out her stuff. But we are about to get into this good conversation. Good. The good. All right. So, LaShawn, while you are speaking the answer to this question, I'm going to put your thing in there, but this is an important one that I like to ask any survivor when they come on the show. The first question. Now, many survivors are afraid. A lot of times they're literally ashamed to admit that they even survived domestic violence, that they let themselves go through it is kind of the thinking. How did I let myself go through that? So my first question for you tonight is, why are you willing to come on the show and share your story?
I'm willing to share my story because I feel like if you're going to fight for anything, you have to actually be on the front lines. You can't complain about something, and I'm going to throw it out there really hard. Say like last year, or actually the beginning of this year, for things like, say, George Floyd, right? You can't say I don't like to see people getting shot in the streets, but when the protest comes, you're sitting in your house looking out at your window.
Gotcha.
It doesn't work like that. You need to be on the streets, just like I was when that happened. I did protest, and I protested everything. So if you're not willing to open your mouth and put yourself on the line, which you're already on the line because you're in it, we're already in it, then you need to not say anything. And the worst thing you can do against any wrongdoing is to be silent.
Be silent.
Be silent. Because that is forced on you when you're being abused anyway. Silence is forced on you from you towards yourself when you're being abused anyway.
Yes.
So silence is the absolute worst thing you can ever do when you're trying to combat anything. Say something. Even Metro in DC has a thing that comes on overhead that says, if you see something, say something.
If you see something, say something. That's at the airports and everything. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's why a lot of things happen to women, like in New York, brutality and rapes and things. A lot of people saw it, but it was able to pass by because no one said anything.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm not going to die never saying anything.
Amen to that. Oh my gosh. I am so glad. Yeah, I feel the same way. When I think about my situation, I'm like, gosh, it's so easy to say, I've got to keep it a secret because I've got this persona or this brand that everybody knows me for. And if I tell people that I went through this thing, are they going to think less of me? How does she let that happen? Ain't she supposed to be smart? Ain't she supposed to be this or that? And you start to think that I can't tell because then people won't look at me the same. And it took me a while to get to that place because, like, yeah, you know what? None of that matters because I got to do what I got to do to help the next person. I got to do what I got to do. Yeah. Say it again.
You have a responsibility once you're in it, because honestly, if you know something happened like that, blood is on your hands if you say nothing. And you know, and I don't want that blood on my hands. It's innocent blood. I'm not going to be a part of that. So
Amen.
I'm down with saying something. And
I'm down with saying something. We down with saying something.
so
Raise my hand. All right, now check this out. I know, right? All right, now check this out. Now you survived domestic violence twice, cuz.
Twice back to back.
Twice back to, I didn't even say it that way, right? Twice back to back. There's a whole lot behind all of that, right? And we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about that. So I want you to share the story, right? Just kind of maybe even in the order they happen. That probably makes the most sense, right? I want you to share the story and I want you to talk about how it happened the first time, right? Save that last piece that I told you to save before, but how it happened. Let's go with the first time, okay?
I actually have quite a surprise for you, Angelique. Because the first time was not the incident that was 6 years ago.
Oh.
The first time I actually even literally saw it to where I didn't know anything about domestic violence was I was 18. Now I'm 38 now.
Yeah.
And I had a particular boyfriend whose name shall not be mentioned.
Yeah, we leave the
And,
names off. No
yep,
airtime.
we took a trip to Ocean City. I still won't go to Ocean City to this day, but in this particular case, he got mad at me, and all of a sudden, I was pinned against the wall. He had a butcher knife, like longer than long, the kind that you chop Thanksgiving with. Let's just call it Thanksgiving because you're cooking big game, right? And it was pressed against the middle of my chest while I was in the wall. And no one else was in the bungalow that we were at in Ocean City.
Yeah.
And if I did not listen to him, he was going to push that knife deep into my chest. Sorry about the police, you guys. I'm going to
It's
close
okay.
the
It's
window.
all right. It's all
I'm
right.
in the city. Sorry, you guys.
You're in the city.
But
Go ahead. We're good.
but I had to come up with a strategic plan to act like I was playing along,
Right.
and so that he wouldn't stab me. And when I acted like I was playing along, he put the knife down and then he grabbed me by both my ears and he slammed my head against the wall until I got a concussion.
Mm.
So
You were
I went.
18?
I was 18. And when I went upstairs in the bungalow that I was at, I knew I couldn't fall asleep because you're not
Yeah.
supposed to if you have a concussion. And he basically came up there and said forcibly, if you don't have sex with me, then I'm gonna kill you.
Mm.
I had to do that with a concussion until I was able to get a ride back home. Then I, dumped him, as in ghosted him and went no contact, as a lot of victims eventually do. But that was literally the actual first time that I experienced
Oh my
legit, like
gosh.
that was my introduction to it. I
All right,
hadn't
y'all. So go ahead.
heard of
All right, so let me catch the audience up real quick because you just threw me a curveball right there.
it. I
Mm.
know, but I said it for you anyway because I love you and your show.
So, okay, y'all. So this is my cousin, right? Like, this is my cousin, like my mom's cousin, like that. Okay. So, um, LaShawn just told us about a story from when she was 18, y'all. So in my mind, this happened when you were more, your situations happened when you were older, but you have a recollection of a situation that was dire, where this
Yeah.
man was basically threatening your life. And then this is the piece that people miss. They miss the sexual abuse. Look at how that was turned on to you, turned around on you and said, you will do this or you won't make it up out of here. And
Well,
what do you
people
do
don't
but
think
comply, right?
you can be raped by a person you're in a relationship with because
You can be
anything
raped
that you
by your
touch with,
husband.
exactly, but people don't even think about that. But and it took me years up until now to even realize, oh, you were raped.
Yeah.
You were
Oof.
raped at knife
My
point.
God. Yes, that's rape. Absolutely.
That is
Oh
absolutely.
gosh. All right. So listen, let me just say this to you. I don't know what you did to that guy. I don't know if he not did to him like that, but if he got in trouble later, if you called the cop, I don't know if you said, I just gotta get away from
I
him and never deal with it again, right?
I
I
just left.
pray, like I don't even know what I don't know what that's like. That extent is like. And so I just pray you're okay because I don't know what that I don't know what that does to people, right? Like I just don't know. So I hope you're good, cuz.
I'm
Mm, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. Okay. So for the situations I do know about, all right, catch us all up. So let's talk about this first one, this second one technically that you went through, and this one bothers me a lot. But
okay.
let's get to start the story going
You mean as an adult,
as an adult.
as an adult, backtracking to where I reconnected with an old flame,
Yep.
um, high school sweetheart, a person that worked hard, brought me presents every single day. We never even argued in our teen years,
Yep.
going into adulthood. Separated like people normally do sometimes when you have a love at an early age, and we came back together. And naturally, I believed that this is like an old friend. You know what I mean? I know
Mm-hmm.
you. We about to get back together. It's so cool. Like we both have been married and had a child and divorced. So it felt like we were just about to fall right back into something really, really sweet that I had always thought about.
Yeah.
Long story short, he didn't tell me that he had a drug addiction. It was crack cocaine. He
Mm,
hid it so well. He hid it so well that I didn't even see it until he started disappearing after we had gotten married.
got it.
We got married. He started disappearing. And all the anger that he had in between appearances coming home was taken out on me. So the first time that I realized he was abusive was one night we were play wrestling. We were play
Mm-hmm.
wrestling, tickle, pickle, whatever. And we were in my kitchen. And he picked me up and he had body slammed me out of the blue so hard that my pinky toe literally snapped like that backwards. And it slit and opened up down, like I said, to the bone. It was
Mm-hmm.
right before you get to the bone. Um, and I know that because the blood was, you could see dead into it, and the blood was so thick, it was like ketchup. It wasn't even normal, like thin. It was
Mm,
thick, like applesauce or something. And I was waiting for him to say, "Oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry. This is an accident. Let's get you to the hospital." Instead, he just loomed over me and said, "You gonna call the cops? You about to call an ambulance? You're not gonna get no ambulance. You gonna call the cops on me? So what you gonna say? I did it. I did it to you." It was like that. And I was looking up at him like, oh my God, I was
mm,
so scared. All I did was wrap my toe with like my local tape, whatever I had in the drawer,
right.
and shut up until it healed. It took about a month to just kind of close, but it was about 4 months before I had a regular toe again. That that right there was
Mm.
the time I saw that this was about to be abusive. Now I didn't even think that it would repeat. It was so traumatic that I couldn't imagine another human doing that or something close to it again a second time.
So
But
you
that
were
was
at a place where you thought if you went and took care of yourself at a hospital or went to a doctor and he found out it was going to be something, like you
it wasn't even
literally.
that. I couldn't even leave to go do that. I couldn't pick up
Mm,
a phone to go do that
mm,
because the person that did it to you is standing there watching you the whole time.
wow.
So you can't do that.
Yep. Yep. All right. So I know there was a particular instance that took place that made you know it was time to jump, that made you know it was time to get out of that. And this episode is called It's Time to Jump, Breaking Free from the Cycle of Abuse. Tell us about that situation with this guy.
Unfortunately, as beautiful as a title that is, mine was literal.
Yeah.
Um, I had to literally jump. I lived on the first floor, but it was high up. It wasn't like a normal apartment. It was kind of very old. And that particular night, he had come home, more than likely from doing drugs, and fell asleep like he normally did. He normally fell
Hmm.
asleep days on end. But this particular night, he had been sleeping for about 4 days without waking up,
Wow.
other than to use the bathroom or maybe eat a piece
Yep.
of bread or something. So I said, "Babe, come on, wake up. You need to like eat." And he was so upset at me for waking him up or remotely even speaking to him that he kicked my screen out of my kitchen window, which was high up. It was high up enough that if you don't know how to land on your feet like a cat, you're done.
Hmm.
And picked me up and threatened to throw me out of it. But um, after that, he kept pacing back and forth through the rooms, like the living room, then back to the bedroom, then the living room. My son at the time was very little, like 4 or 5, and he was asleep in
Yeah.
like a little dream tent. So he wasn't really visible, thank God.
Yeah.
And so when he came out of the room, I heard him stomping back out into the living room where I was quietly sitting. But he drugged me by my hair, which was
Oh.
long at the time, all through the living room. And then finally, he rolled me over and then he grabbed my head and he just kept punching me in the face with this like insane blank look on his face. And he punched me in the face so many times. Like all of this, I look like the Elephant Man.
And this is because you woke him up.
Only because I said, "Hey, babe, it's time to wake up. Maybe you should try to wake up and eat something." And then he bashed my head against the floor. And then when he rolled me back over, that's when he decided to put me in the headlock and pull my head back. I mean, with everything he had in him, you could feel it. He was even going like, and I was gurgling the blood, and I was like, and my spine, you could feel the vertebrae just, you could hear it grinding. You could hear it grinding inside yourself. And he went in the room to get something, which I assume was some form of weapon to finish me off, which then made me have to jump out of my own window in my underwear in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
My child there because I didn't want to draw attention to him.
Yep.
Come for me, chase me. So I jumped out of the window and then went to find any form of help, which happened to be this random Spanish guy on his phone in the building next door outside. And I just ran up to him in my underwear and said, "Please, please, please call the cops," which he did. That's when I hid in my own building a few flights up, where I could hear him steal my car keys and leave without my child, thank God. But then I couldn't get
Yep.
in the door. And that's when the fire department had to break down my door and take pictures of my face with the police
So
and
you can get your baby.
so I can get my baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ah, I know the story. You told me the story, but when I hear it now, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Okay. I imagine that there's some specific things okay. My dog is doing again what he did the last time. Y'all see the curtain moving?
Let the dog get the curtain, girl. You gonna win that
He
fight.
always want to be next to mommy. I do not. He wagging his tail too, like, yep. I'm gonna show y'all Ruckus
You
one of these days.
got this.
Okay, that is traumatic, and even like picturing what you're saying, like I remember my situation being in a headlock, but it was a sideways headlock in a car. So he didn't have the leverage that you're talking about with the guy. He didn't have the leverage because if somebody's behind you pulling your head basically
Sitting
backwards,
on your body.
sitting on your body. So then the top, you're literally bending backwards in half almost.
Yeah,
I am,
with that.
and by your neck, like
By your
I
neck,
will
yeah.
never understand. I will never understand. To me, that is just demonic. Abuse has like a demonistic thing to me.
Glad you said
That's
that.
just
It's very demonic.
it's very
Only
demonic. That
only hellish things promote violence, filthiness,
mm,
things like that. You cannot, there's no way you can know any form of God and
oh
be
my God.
able to do that to a fellow.
Mm. Y'all
There's just,
listen. It's 7:28 already in this conversation. I got chills on my arms. Like this is my cousin LaShawn, and I put her website up there because she's an artist. I know we're talking about the situation that you went through of domestic violence. I know we're talking about these moments, but I want to say to y'all, this is a beautiful person who has a beautiful gift. And there were people that she came across in her life that tried to remove that from her, that tried to reduce her to less than that. So I just thank God right now that you are here. I mean, we party that moves parties with you, with all kind of stuff, right? With your
yeah,
baby, my baby, right? Okay, so I just thank God that you are here and that you are okay and that your gift is still thriving. We haven't talked about that painting right behind you. Lean to the side so they can see it right behind you. Lean to the side. You
oh
see
wait,
that? Or whichever side. I don't know what side. There you go. That right behind her, that image right there, she painted it. It's called Façade. And the story behind this, and even her artwork in general that you can see behind her. If you can see, her walls are painted in her house, y'all. This is a gift. Y'all hear me? Oh my God, I can't wait to keep talking. So we got some comments here. This is my bestie, so traumatic. God bless you for having the strength to relive this and share. Praying for your continued strength.
thank you, thank you.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Thanks, bestie. Um, whew, let's go to the next situation that you were going to share. I know this one's different, unless there's something else you want to say about the first one you were talking about. One of the first
No,
ones.
the first one, it pretty much summed it up. Unless you
Okay.
want to talk about the arrest station and how that happened, but we don't have time.
All right. So let's go to the last one. Let's call it that one, the last one, the most
Mm-hmm.
recent situation.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, how that came about, and kind of what your journey was through that one.
This one was very different in a sense that it didn't introduce me to domestic violence as much as it introduced me to that, coupled with my introduction to narcissism and narcissistic
Hmm.
traits, which I think go hand in hand with
Yeah.
domestic violence. So in this case, this person, way more beautiful looking person that gets off on her looks. That's just kind
Yeah.
of a big thing about it. Um, as I said, we met at a library, and I would naturally, like anyone else, assume library equals some form of
He's
violence.
studied. He's cultured. We're at the
Yeah,
library.
it's cultured. I'm not fucking women, but it's cool. So
Yeah.
no, so we met at a library, and he approached me very nice. It was 2 weeks out of moving from the last apartment with my old marriage, which I was a year out in my divorce.
Okay. So you're a
Um,
year out at this point.
I was
Okay.
a year, which I found out later he had come back and made it clear to my neighbors he'd come back to finish me off, which I'm glad I
Oof.
moved to. He came back 3 days after I had escaped.
Okay.
So 3 days prior, and we ended up getting together, hitting it off. He was an artist too, and
Mm.
everything slick, and you
Common
know
interests. Yeah.
exactly. But then I started seeing signs like red flags. Which, please, guys, don't ignore red flags. Don't ignore any of them. If you feel weird about it, it's because it is weird, and it's the spirit
Hmm.
of discernment.
Yep.
So um, I started hearing women calling all the time, always in the nights. Um, it trickled down when I was pregnant to actually a prostitute frequenting my house, like around the building, which I couldn't really come out because she was
You sound a
frequenting.
little bit low. You sound a little bit low, cuz.
Oh, sorry, the prostitute was frequenting my building, in the area that I was in. It just really got insanely wild.
Yeah.
And
That was
so we
good when you
started,
put the mic to your mouth like that. That worked really good when you had it right in front of you.
so we started fighting a lot
Yep.
naturally. But the first incident of physical, which it wasn't always physical, but it was enough physical sprinkled in
Yep.
to make it domestic violence, is
Yep.
when I was ironing my son's clothing for school, which was a uniform. And I didn't have an iron board, so I had to sit on the floor.
Yep.
And he came over and kicked me in my rib cage. And I was like, you know what was weird about that, Angelique? Is prior to us getting in a relationship, and this is something that I kind of don't know if women should do or not, or even men who are in this. I expressed and told him about my previous abuse because I've been diagnosed
Mhm.
with PTSD. But what they do is take all that information, act like they sympathize with you, and then when you're in an argument later on, pull that out like an arsenal and slam dunk you in your face with it, and then use all those same things to take you down. And that's what happened. And that's what happened. It was like,
This
oh,
is tough. This is
yeah,
tough.
and
This is a very tough topic because we know that abusers study you, find out
mm,
what your weaknesses are, where they can kind of, I always say they find the cracks in the dam. They
mm-hmm.
do that because they want to use it later. So where we're trying to express ourselves and say, and almost like own our story, you're trying to own your story, and you say, this is what happened to me. Unfortunately, there are people literally that go, aha, got it. I'm gonna
There's
store
that
that little nut
kryptonite.
right here in
I
the
gave
back,
them,
right, just for the right time.
yep, you just gave them the recipe for kryptonite, Clark Kent. And that's how that felt.
That's
I just
tough.
gave you the recipe for kryptonite. And
That's
it was
tough.
every single thing I said that had happened had been used immediately against me.
So, and
Like,
I want to back everybody up, y'all. Now, because some of these, I see Jacob tagging people into this and letting people say, "Come on, join the show." This is my cousin LaShawn. LaShawn is a phenomenal artist. You guys can see some of the artwork behind her, but the two of us have something very significant in common, which we are both survivors of domestic violence. And I say survivors, and we are thrivers. And LaShawn's artwork speaks volumes to the creativity, just a part of her soul. To be quite, it's just deep in you, baby. It's just deep. And this particular painting that's right behind her that you can see is actually a very nice image of a woman, but you can tell the pain, there it is right there, the pain, the all of that she's been through, all captured in this picture. So we're on here talking about LaShawn's story, and we just had an amazing conversation about, do you tell people when you go to your next relationship, is it wise or not to tell people, to tell these men, well, when they say, so why aren't you married anymore? Or what happened to your last relationship? It would say, it could be easy just to skip past it. I've tried to own my story and say, I went through a marriage of domestic violence and I got me and my daughter out of it. But
Mm.
unfortunately, that gets used against us. That's tough. So anyway, and I want to tell y'all something real quick. LaShawn is like 5 foot nothing, right? So when she's
Wow.
telling y'all these,
Give me the one.
give you the one. So when
Give
she's
me the
telling
power.
y'all these stories, I want you to picture these, and she's tiny, y'all. Like, look at this. This is my hairdresser. Y'all see this hair color? She just
It's
did this.
beautiful. It's good job.
Thanks, Linda. She literally just did this for me on Friday. All right. So, LaShawn, keep going. So, you were ironing your baby's clothes, your son's uniform for school. I don't know what the argument necessarily was, but he thought it was okay to come over and kick you literally in your ribs.
The argument was over the night before. It wasn't even going on at the time. Just walked over
Mm.
and said, "Oh," and I was like,
And
and here we go again.
here we go again.
And here we go again.
All right. So that experience, I'm sure, just like the, just where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? So now take us to you knew it was time to jump. I know this was different than the other one, but where you talked about a transformation that happened in you as a result of what was happening to you, you became a slightly different person. And I want you to share that because people don't understand always the impact of what domestic violence can do. So let's talk about what happened in your situation.
It can make you an insanely different person.
Yeah.
I found myself becoming, if you hang around trash long enough, you're going to start to stink, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So I started becoming angry. I started drinking a lot. I started becoming violent because every little sound, noise, if you stomp behind me while I was going to another room, I think you're about to attack me. It's going down. It was like that because I was so traumatized, which I
Yep.
had told you, and then you turn around and threw it in my face and used it against me. So this particular night, I known that I'd been getting cheated on for at least 6 months. I
Give
knew
us
it.
your mic again, cuz give us your mic again. It works real well when you put it to your
I,
mouth.
I knew on this particular night that I had been getting cheated on for about 6 months.
Yep.
I was so tired of it. I was so tired of the fighting without accountability on that person's behalf that that particular that he liked to hide for some reason in my closets.
Mm,
Every closet that I had. Like there was even one night where we argued. I thought he had left. He did leave. But when I went to go lay down, I heard a noise in my closet. When I went to my closet, he
mm.
was standing there behind the door, like, "Oh, I was gonna surprise you." Surprise me with what?
Like you're in
Uh,
the closet. Like,
you in a closet, and you purposely acting like you don't know. I don't know you're in there. So this particular day, he had been in the closet
mm,
all day long, and I gotten so mad that when I went to confront him because he wasn't speaking to me, he had already had his bags packed. I didn't know that
mm.
with another woman, by the way.
Okay.
And I've taken a vase that I had that was specifically for him as a gift, and I threw it so hard at him it just busted on his face.
Mm,
And I went to sleep. You know you're going crazy when you can do something like that to someone that's abusing you and comfortably go to sleep
mm.
right after you did it. It was that bad. And after that, I was like, you know something? You and your violence, because the violence, like I said, Angelique, was mental,
Yep.
emotional,
Yep.
spiritual, and verbal. And do you know why else I did that? In this case, it got worse because he was doing that to my son as well,
He was doing what to your son?
calling him a loser, hiding his toys, trying to get him in trouble, arguing with him all the time, trying to get reasons for him to be punished, um, calling him all kinds of names. That made the mother just in me come out. I wasn't just violent because I was being attacked. I
It
was
was
violent
happening to both of y'all.
because you were doing it to my baby, and he didn't deserve it. And it hurt so bad that I was just, you go into attack mode as a mother. You go into attack
This person on here says someone who abuses my child, you would not find their body. I get that feeling.
mode.
I
Baby,
get
you
that
know
feel.
what
I
I'm
understand it.
saying? So yeah, it was like that. And you know, one of the worst moments in that in time before that exit happened, same abuse was happening to my child,
Yep.
and a bookshelf that I had refurbished fell.
Yep.
My neighbors who were nosy, because see, a lot of times people around you, they're watching it and hearing it, but see, ain't nobody saying it. They'll tell on you before they'll say, "Girl, you need some help."
Yep.
So, girl, do you need some help? They were like, call the cops. The worst moment in time, Angelique, was when a female officer, shorter than me, black as well, like me, came
Mm-hmm.
and arrested me while looking at him who's 6'4" or something,
While looking at him, what?
who's like 6 feet tall. She
Mm.
looked at me, arrested me, and I had to spend the night in a bullpen in Central Cell Block while the same abuser took care of my children and told them, "I hope your mother rots in hell." The whole time I was in Central Cell Block, they said, "I hope your mother rots in
This is the part that makes it so tough because you would think by now domestic violence and these cops and they get it. You would think they get it by now that abusers have this way of creating all these problems, abusing their victims, and then when they show up, they are gentlemen, they're charming, they I don't know what's going on. She's just flipping out. You would think by now
hell." And
that
the
they
victim
would
just,
catch on and they don't. And it's so
how,
frustrating. So then you end up in jail because
how do
you
you
look
know? Go ahead.
frantic. Hmm?
I was gonna say, how do you know? And that's what I was talking about when it comes to trust, because these kind of situations make you look at every single person, to the barista at Starbucks, to your doctor, to your lawyer, to a judge. How do you
Yep.
know they're not abusers that are just being biased?
Which is very true because I can think of a few people, a specific situation of a girl that I went through a training class, a lady I went through a training class with. Her abuser was a Charlotte Mecklenburg police officer. And so when she called for CMPD, his homies was showing up. And it was like, oh, what's up, dog? Blah, 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 whatever. And she like, I
Like
called you
what?
for me to help me. And there was no help for her.
You know what a
It's
cop
terrible.
told me? A cop told me, and he was a man, a black man, very attractive. He said, "You can't throw a man out his house. Like, what's wrong with you?" I was like,
You can't throw a man out of his house.
and wrote my case down on the back of a Chinese carryout menu that he pulled out of his back pocket.
I can't. I cannot right now. Tahira said my situation. So this must be having to do with like, getting in trouble, going to jail when it wasn't even her fault. My other bestie, look, Rashida's on. Rashida said, "Wow, I just this whole thing is just LaShawn. I'm so proud of you. Because this kind of stuff is never easy to talk about. We do it. We've got you and I have similar reasons as to why we do what we do and why we share our stories. And I, when you think about what these situations cost you, I'm kind of skipping down. What did domestic violence cost you? Whether it was mental, emotional, financial, what did it cost you?
I'm gonna say all of the above. It cost me my emotional standpoint on people in general, and trust is so out of whack that it introduced a large form of paranoia,
Yes.
PTSD. My bank accounts were drained because the person had my information that
Mm.
they wrote down. Because your spouse uh, can
They
easily
know
access.
everything.
I mean, you're supposed to, right? But to the degree where they know where you keep your stuff, and I'm still getting robbed to this day, to the point where my bank account got shut down and suspended. Um, he left me the Pepco bill that was $900 with no way to pay it. Um,
From Petco, you said?
Pepco.
Oh, Pepco. Okay.
hmm I lost my car over it. I lost my job over it. I lost a lot of sanity, sleep over it.
And you were
Um,
you were working at a private school, you were doing teaching art, you were, I
yep.
mean, you were doing lessons for, I just special club. I just, it's so frustrating.
You
And
want
you
to
have
know
to rebuild.
even worse than that, working for a Catholic school, my boss, she was a nun. She was a
Mm-hmm.
active nun, full habit, everything. She
Mm-hmm.
was to understand when I came there beat up and told her that my ex-husband had first of all had a baby on me, but while the mistress was birthing her baby, the doctor was digging pieces of mine out as he was simultaneously calling me on the phone saying, "Can you get me out of jail, please? I'm getting arrested right now."
So you lost a child in this process
While the
too.
mistress was birthing hers, yeah, I did. I had like pieces of legs and stuff. It was big enough for you to see it. And he was just calling me on the phone while the doctor was literally picking out the chunks and going, uh, can you just get me out of jail? It wasn't sorry or anything like that. It was just, so what's up, you know? And so I told the nun this because I'm like, you're religious. We both believe in Jesus and God. And she was like, oh, well, yeah, well, just don't come back next year because I just can't. Because I had my miscarriage in the classroom while I was taking care of the children and all this work
Oh,
together.
oh my
So
God.
I
Oh my
had to
God.
step through the blood um, and basically like beg for help so that I could drive myself bloody while my kid was there behind a partition in the Providence Hospital while they dug chunks of my baby out, while the corporate that beat the baby out of me was basically having another baby with someone else
I
and getting
just, I,
favors. Yeah.
I gotta thank you. You are being completely transparent, and you are just telling it like it is. And I know it's a lot to repeat. I'm sure you said it before, so maybe you kind of digested it and you worked through
I've
some
never
of
told
it.
anyone that.
But but it's to hear some of this for the first time, especially that part you just spoke. That's a lot. I've never. I have one baby. I got one baby, and she's my whole world. And I can't imagine what that experience must have been like for you. So God bless you, because that's a lot. That's a lot. But you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
I look at you and what I hear and how you hold your head and you look cute and everything. And I look at you and I say, your story didn't end there, right? If they would have had it their way, you would have been dead in a crazy house somewhere, or just completely lost walking the streets, whatever, right? They
Yeah.
didn't have it their way. Your story did not end with all of this. You are on this podcast today telling it because you know you can help somebody else. But because your story didn't end there, you have turned your pain into purpose. And
Yeah.
a lot of that purpose is right behind you. So tell us about all that pretty stuff we see back there that you got behind you. Tell us about what you do today.
Oh, what I do today is what I've always done, but this particular year, especially when COVID hit and we were all stuck in the house kind of, and I was like, you know something, if I can't go outside, I can paint outside.
Yep. Yep.
I can paint outside inside and I can make it so beautiful that um it's not gonna matter. You know what I mean? As long as you have a
Yeah.
family inside, you can make your whole world inside and make my home a space of peace and happiness and love. And that's what I did with that. And so I use my art as a visual diary because
Yes.
everyone is not a writer. Granted, I took creative writing in college, but my venue that makes me comfortable is to put it on a canvas so that we don't have to have a conversation. We're visually having a conversation. We're spiritually and emotionally having a conversation. That's
Mm.
something universal, which is pain.
Yes.
But you can make it beautiful. You got to go through a lot of pain to make a lot of things grow and everything else. And I don't see where art would be that different.
And you call it your visual diary.
I call it my visual diary.
That's how you get out what you need to say in a totally different way. I just think it's so beautiful. God, I think it's so beautiful.
It's
All right,
cool.
so do us a favor. Do us a favor. Hold on,
Okay.
real quick. I had her website up there. I'll put it back on there. Sarita says, "Amen. You exude resiliency and beauty."
Thank
So
you. Thank
talk,
you.
talk
Thank
to us
you.
a little bit about first, not the painting, not yet, but some of that
Okay.
other stuff behind you. Can you share, even if you got to get up and walk your camera or you whatever?
I'm not good at everything, but I'll try to pick it up. I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll just at home panorama or something.
Oh, look at this. Are
So
y'all watching?
it's trees. It says peace. I believe that side says peace. And then there's all types of trees. So when you go to my couch, it says love, and
Oh my
there's
God, I love this.
and the star lights up, and it says love, and the love is done in vines as well. If I can try to make it close, it
No,
says
we can
love.
see it. We can see it.
Okay, and then you come around, and it's still all of that awesome sauces. I'm gonna do it the way you said do
Awesome
it.
sauce.
Awesome sauce. But I do the trees, and then I make sure that I have something for my family to look at over top that just says smile.
There you
And
go.
I paint throughout my entire home.
Wait, who are those images? I see some images right behind you on the wall.
I actually rescued some old images of Audrey Hepburn, and they were so
Yeah.
ugly, and gross. I actually painted those too.
Do y'all see this? She is good,
I'm
baby.
trying to get
What's the other one? What's the other one
the
on the other
other
side?
is another dual image of Audrey
Okay.
uh, Hepburn. I'm trying to do it like
I
we
know
talked
this it's
about.
the mirror thing is so hard, like to flip it around. Oh,
Yeah,
as we see
so
it. There we go. Do y'all see this?
I'll try to close it.
Yeah, she looking over her shoulder like.
Yeah, actually, they didn't even have she didn't have ears or anything. I put makeup and ears and shoulders on her and jewelry and stuff like that to make it look really, really cool. And then one really special part in my home, I don't know if you guys can see it, is I have like a spiritual section with my plants um that just has like a little
Oh
Buddha head.
wow.
I'm not
Wait, you
it's
made that
really
too?
no,
Oh,
I
oh,
actually
oh.
rescued it. I
Oh, you
actually
rescued it.
rescued
Okay.
that.
You see, Shay
Yeah,
said,
but
amazing.
thank you.
Listen,
You gotta
y'all, if you haven't yet, I'm gonna put it back up here. If you haven't yet gone out to her website, it's in the comments. Copy, paste it if you have to. Paste. This is an artist that can create pieces on demand. Am I wrong? Pieces on demand by request.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely, y'all. Like this is talent. You want to talk about surviving and thriving? Yes, that's her. All right, so now we got to get to. Go ahead, cuz.
Oh, I was gonna say, the actress Regina Hall.
Yes.
I actually know her brother, so I was at their house for one. This is a random story, but
Yeah.
for New Year's Eve, and she happened to come there, and we kicked it. And then I went to visit her the next day at her mom's house, but her mom, she was so sweet, she passed away, and
Okay.
I painted this of her mom because you said show an original piece. I'm gonna try,
Ooh,
let me try to get it focused.
we see it. We see it. Good job. Yep. That's her mom.
Her mom passed away this year, and I have a surprise painting for her when I do get back in touch.
Okay. Sweet. And tell
And
me
she
real
has,
quick again, it's artistlashawn@gmail.com, right?
yes, it is.
Listen, y'all, if you are not paying attention, open your eyes because this is real beautiful stuff happening here. So you saw the website. If you want to get in touch with LaShawn and you're interested in her artwork, painting something special for a special person or a special occasion, special situation, whatever it may be, or you may be interested in something that you saw, check out the website. Make sure you reach out because this is creativity on steroids right here. Like I just love what I see. So now if you could share with the audience that very special painting that is for sale, the one that's right behind you that we've been talking about, the one that's on the flyer.
Okay, so in this painting, and can the viewers see the painting via the flyer, right?
They can. It's on the flyer, and it's on
Okay.
and I have a separate picture on Facebook too.
All right, so I'll break it down. So in this painting,
You want to go
I
stand next to it? Do you mind standing right next to it as you talk about it?
I will move this and see what we can do with that. We gonna impromptu right now.
We're
Let's
going
see.
impromptu right now. There we go.
I do it like this.
Just as I understand your emotion as still as you can. Don't even worry about it though. We're with you.
So in this painting, I have the woman in the forefront is a representation of me.
Okay.
Um, I used a situation that I actually did experience with my first husband, where we were coming from a party. We were in a car. We were in a car that my mother graciously gave him.
Mm-hmm.
And he started talking about an ex and how he wondered what their baby would have looked like. Which, first of all, you drinking, never talk about an ex, never
Yeah.
talk about somebody, really. And you're coming from a party. And when I didn't agree with it, we got into this really insane argument where he decided he was going to speed up going 60, grab me by the neck, and he grabbed it so tightly that he peeled the flesh off in the shape of his entire hand. It was not just half of a hand, it was the whole hand, to where his family said, "You got a hand on your neck."
Mm.
But they didn't even bother reprimanding him for it. He just peeled it off in the shape of a hand. So
Mm-hmm.
on her neck is actually
Yep, we
something.
see it.
And the writing in the background, you guys, is an actual love letter from my ex-husband, like a real good love letter, to where it was talking about how I deserve better things and to be treated well, when you did the total opposite. So I wanted to take a piece of my heart, use a real love letter, not something that I just came up with out of the blue, and put it in the background.
Mm-hmm. So those are
Again,
his words
those are his
throughout the thread in the background. Mm.
verbatim. I looked at it and wrote it verbatim. Um, I mean, how many people could take their divorce decree, put it as
Whew.
a back for painting,
Mm-hmm.
a couple eating a really nice dinner, but now you're divorced? It's kind of like that. The bird
Mm-hmm.
she in the background represents my heart. The reason why it
The
represents,
bird that's right here, y'all. She's talking about the bird that's right there to her chest in the picture.
yep, right there. It represents my heart because I'm a people lover. I'm an animal lover. I'm a plant lover. I love life in general. And I like birds because I thought if you can walk, swim, or fly as the only animal that can do that, to shoot a bird out of a tree would be like killing love.
Mm.
And instead of being cliche and putting an anatomically correct heart there, I put a red bird there to represent me trying to be poised through being beaten down and guard my heart,
Mm.
like so many of us have to do. So that's what that painting means to me.
Oh my goodness. Did y'all, I mean, gosh, I told LaShawn we were prepping for this. I said, girl, you are so good at this. And not that she's like trying to just be good at it, but it's just naturally comes from you. It's a part of it. It's just the artist in you, that the way you express yourself in word and in paint. It's phenomenal.
I
I
appreciate
appreciate you for your story, girl. Like who knew? Who knew that we'd be on a podcast together having this conversation tonight?
it. Hey, but look, doing it. And you know what? Had you not been given that kind of pain, I mean, we can even go to Jesus. Had he not had to be crucified, we wouldn't have had the beautiful things that we have right now to be able to be alive to do a podcast. So had you not
Amen.
had pain, you wouldn't have even thought
Mm.
about this venue, let alone
Amen.
how many people need to hear it, you know?
Mm.
So
Listen,
it's a blessing that hurts in a sense, but you come out better from it.
you do come out stronger, better, eyes wide open now, right? So that
Third eye,
painting, your third eye, right?
third eye, you
That
need another one.
painting is called Façade. And you are
Mhm.
selling it, and you are also willing to sell some reprints if someone wants the digital reprints. But if
Ab-
someone wants to buy that one right there, that amazing painting, how much are you selling that for?
I'll tell you something very special.
Okay.
I am so deeply into God. I was thinking 222, and I'll tell you what 222 means. It's actually considered universally, and look it up because you don't have to take my word for it. It's called an angel number, and it's about change in the battle between good and evil. And I said,
Mm.
what better than to charge 222 and maybe donate some back to the cause.
Okay, I love it. All right. So if someone wants it, they can reach out to you using your email address. I didn't put your phone number here, but I guess I could have.
You
They
can if
can
you
they
want.
can reach out to you, but you plan to give some of that back to donate some of it.
I don't think you can. I mean, it's no different from tithes.
Yeah, no
It's
different
COVID,
than times.
you can still tithe.
Did you have a price that you would, I should have asked you this earlier, so I'm putting you on the spot. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm putting her on the spot a little bit. Did you have a price you plan for the reprints? If someone just says, I can't necessarily pay for that painting. I really, really love it. If they want a digital reprint, did you have a price in mind for that?
Depending on the size, it can go from anything from 30 to 50, but I would never charge more than that because I want my message to be affordable
Yep.
and get as many places as it can get instead of just looking for the money. If that makes
Yes.
sense. You want to
Yes.
put out, you don't want to make your message more expensive and valuable than the message itself, you know.
Yep.
You want
Yep.
it to get out.
So
Yeah.
you've got other stuff for sale. And again, everybody, I'm so proud of her. So that's why I keep hearing me say this, like, reach out, check out that website. There's a message in all of this. And
It
so,
is.
hey, listen, you know what? I want to make sure I give you a chance to just say some final thoughts. Are there any final thoughts you want to leave with this audience, whether it's to other victims, to survivors, or just a general message to the world about your experience, your artwork, anything at all?
Um, I feel like the art speaks for itself, so I would like to talk to somebody the way that I wish that somebody was there to talk to me, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you're alone or you feel alone because the people that you can talk to, you don't feel comfortable even admitting that that's going down.
Yes.
I would say stick to whatever God. Yeah, I'm not judgmental about what you do. If you're a Buddhist or you believe in Muhammad, whatever you do, you find yourself some spiritual background. You stick to your God. You forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You forgive yourself, which is the hardest thing to do, for abandoning you for somebody else.
Oh,
You
gosh.
forgive yourself for abandoning you for somebody else because even though they abandon you at some point, and it made me cry to do it, it's called mirror work. You look in the mirror and you forgive yourself for
Mm.
abandoning you.
Yep.
And you tell yourself, sorry, don't do it again. And then you move on and go forth and be great. I just, don't go back to it. Do yourself a favor and forgive yourself. It's okay. There's a lot of people out here that's gonna victim shame you.
Mm.
Don't victim shame them,
Mm.
you know? It's okay
Ah,
to make mistakes. It's perfectly fine. Just
I
as
am. That hit me real deep. I'm
it
trying to
hit me
manage.
so deep.
Um, I'm trying to manage through this moment.
Forgive
Oh,
yourself for letting you down because you are the one that cares about you. You are the one that forgot to tell you you love you. You were the one that looked in the mirror and let all those bad things make you feel like that's what you are. And you are the one that needs to look yourself. The hardest thing I had to do was myself in the face and say, I am so sorry for
yep.
letting you. I am so sorry for letting you down. And I just cried in the mirror. And you know what? You gotta cry, cry. But tell
Mm.
yourself sorry for letting you down and tell yourself you forgive yourself and then pick yourself back up and know that it's
Woo.
okay to say
Mm. I
and make
just, it's never been said to me that way. Um, Forgive yourself for abandoning you. That
yep.
is that is big time. And I'm gonna forgive yourself for abandoning you. I'm gonna just put this up here because I believe that I'm not the only person that needed to hear that.
I
Um,
needed to hear it so bad that when my therapist said it and I looked in the mirror, I was so embarrassed to confront myself that I just cried. I just cried hysterically in the mirror because I couldn't even face me, my best friend, and tell me sorry for letting you down.
yeah.
You know, it was
Ooh. You know when the air in the room changes? It
absolutely
just happened. It definitely just happened. You are phenomenal to me. Because you
likewise.
know what? You know what? People look at situations like this and they can sometimes count you out, right? Somebody would say, oh, well, she went through it this time and then she went through it that time and what's going on, right? Yeah, maybe there
Mhm.
is stuff going on and I'm working through all that. But you are uniquely and specially and amazingly you. And the fact that you would give from yourself your own, the depths of whatever, however deep it was for you, that you are sitting on the show tonight saying, all that aside, would you say, I forgave myself for abandoning me. I
Yeah.
forgave myself. And that's how I'm able to move forward. And that's how I can talk tonight. Ah,
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm likewise. Likewise.
So proud of you. And listen, I am counting
We
on
both
one of
crying.
y'all on this show. Go ahead, go ahead.
I said we both crying.
I
I
know,
just got
right? I am counting on one of y'all that's watching this show to support this sister, because and it doesn't have to be the piece that we're talking about tonight for the 222. It doesn't have to be the reprint. I would love for it. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Notice that this is the first Sunday of the month, and this is, I put this on for a reason. Contact her, reach out to her. We've got holidays coming, special events coming. She can do something amazing for you. And I think you can tell that what she produces is from right here. And it will be just as beautiful as her soul and her heart is. So reach out. What does that say? Queen Juicy Shake. That's a funny name.
Yeah, I like it. Stay juicy, queen. Stay juicy, queen.
So
Dude.
I'm going to show your website one more time just to make sure. I scroll past it so many times. I got to find it again. Here we go. All right. So get out to that website, support LaShawn, reach out to her by email, etc. And support domestic violence awareness, because this thing is out of control. 1 in 4 women experience it. 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence in their lifetime. We have got to do something to get control of this. And we are doing our part, because we're doing our part to help with that. All right. So I think we're coming to a close. Any other comments from the audience, the viewers, before we end this broadcast? This was phenomenal. I'm so grateful for you. This was
I'm so
phenomenal.
grateful. Happy first Sunday.
I know, right? All right, let's
Yeah.
see what else going on here. Thank you, Queens. I said thank you, Queens. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, cuz. I will talk to you later. See y'all. Have a good night.
Love
Blessings to
everybody out
everybody.
there and
All
take
right,
care.
see y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.